Everybody. Welcome back to Undefined. And I have a really exciting guest, Lachy from the Wiggles, the Purple Wiggle. How are you doing today, Lachy?
Good, Bella. How are you? Good morning from Australia.
I'm doing great. And, this is so exciting on this show. I like to talk about all different kinds of musicians and a lot of our earliest memories. A lot of our people in my generation and even kids today were dancing to these guys and seeing them in concert. I know they're a lot of people's first concert. And
Mm.
I get to talk to Lachy today about their brand new tour. They're going on their biggest American tour in 5 years. It is called the Bouncing Balls Tour. It is named after their newest hit song, which has over 20 million views on YouTube. They are making several stops, including, like I just mentioned, Memphis on June 15th at the Orpheum. Are you excited to come back to America, Loggy? Tell us a little bit about that tour and what can we expect?
Yeah, it's massive for the Wiggles. We haven't, as you said, we haven't been to America in such a long time. It's the first time we're bringing all eight Wiggles, the brand new lineup. Your OG Wiggles, Murray, Jeff, Greg, and Anthony were around for 30 years, and now the Wiggles are still going, and it's really exciting. The Bouncing Balls tour. Um, after our hit song "Bouncing Balls," I'm not sure if you heard that one, but it's pretty.
Oh, yes.
It, it's pretty great. But yeah, the show's I think more energetic and inspiring than ever before. We've got eight Wiggles of all different talents and abilities. Children get to see so much on stage. Dorothy the Dinosaur, Wags the
Yes.
Dog, Henry the Octopus, the original Captain Feathersword of 31 years is going to be there too. So it's a show for everybody. The parents will enjoy it just as much as the children. And we really can't wait to be back in the States. Been a long time coming.
Oh, I will be there. I am very excited. I'm very excited to see Captain Feathersword. I've been following you guys ever since I was a little kid, but I
Mm.
actually never got to see you guys in concert. So, is there stuff
Oh,
for like even like for older kids that grew up, or I'm sure like a lot of kids they might have little siblings or they're babysitting, and what can and the parents as well. What can we expect? Like, will there be some of the classic songs as well?
absolutely. We can never stop doing those songs like Rockabye Your Bear. I'm sure you
Hmm.
remember.
Oh
We
yeah.
do that. We do fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Very
Hmm.
important to eat a good breakfast. We do hot potato in the show too, and then we change around the Dorothy songs. There's some fantastic Dorothy the Dinosaur original songs, but we change them up. But that it really is, from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to our one of our the new generation's big hits, to the Propeller.
Oh
We,
yeah.
we we do that song as well. To Chugga Chugga Big Red Car. We also take, so many children bring signs to the show. So if you want to hear a particular song, or we play the whole show live, which is a really cool thing, I think, for a children's act. The children not only get to see the music, but get to watch us play music. Anthony's daughter, Lucia, is in the group now. She wears blue. She's an amazing drum player.
Oh
So I
yeah,
think,
she's excellent.
yeah, it really is a show for everybody. I think kids will get so much out of it that whatever they like, they'll get to see. And we do throw balls out into the crowd. So you've got to get ready for that too.
Oh yeah, that's going to be very exciting. And yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about the newer iteration of the
Mm.
group. Like you said, so we had the originals, Anthony, Murray, Greg, and Jeff, and then around I think when did you officially take over? It's like around 2011. You
Mm.
joined the group with Emma and Simon, and
Yep.
now we have a lot of new members, including Lucia, Anthony's daughter, Sahai. Katarina, and there's also I love the other characters that have joined, and what's so great about this newer generation is that you guys have connected with older fans like myself through TikTok, and you have people like the Tree of Wisdom who is now
Right.
blowing up on social media, your cover of the Rattling Bog. And how do you stay kind of fresh and innovative with all of these new members and trying to kind of showcase the balance of their talents mixed with, of course, the original music and these new songs?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of things at Wiggles happen so organically, and the Tree of Wisdom just came out of a character from the TV show, and then as soon as he kind of started dancing, we do a great song in the show called "The Rattling Bog."
Hmm.
If you're aware of that one, it kind of builds that stuff gets added onto the tree every time, but for every single thing that gets added onto him, he has a new dance for it, and it is a real crowd favorite. And I think that's one of the ones that's blown up on social media. But That's what I love about the Wiggles is yeah, things do happen so organically. We didn't sit around and go, let's create a character called the Tree of Wisdom. It just it just kind of came out of filming TV and having such fun on set. And then I think that translates to the audiences and through the camera. People think this is so random and so fun.
I've had
Just,
several people send me all kinds of different videos of the Tree of Wisdom. You're like, oh,
yeah.
you're the Wiggles expert. Please tell me about what's happening here. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
oh, I'm glad. That's
Yeah.
what I think is so stands out so much about you guys is that, I mean, 30 years, it's almost like a legacy brand, and you're
Mm,
able to just come up with fresh ideas. And you can tell with like in the music videos and the social media content and the
mm,
live shows and the TV, you guys are genuinely having fun. And
mm,
I really love to see that because sometimes with especially like when you're singing the same songs over and over, it
mm.
can feel like a job. How has it been fun for you still? Because it's been over 10 years for you, and what have been some of your favorite memories of just filming or coming up with new songs?
Well, I think I've said this to a lot of people. I really do think this particular last few years with the new group and has been my most enjoyable few years. I think it just the energy and it does come across when you get to see a live show that I think the songs and recordings we're doing are better than ever. Um, so I think it's a mix of things, but I think having the diversity now on stage, having there's just so people aren't confused. There's two of each color now, and the reason we did that and not have a multiple of other colors is because children knew the four colors of the Wiggles, and that was important to stay those colors. So now there's two blue, two yellow, two purple, and two red. But yeah, so that's what I think this has been the most exciting, and I'm particularly excited for the American audiences to see the show because it is very different to how probably we were definitely different to how we were last time we were together
Yeah.
over there. But yeah, I really do think people will love it when they come and see it.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be great. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the television series that
Mm-hmm.
you guys have. So you have two currently. You have a YouTube one called Wiggle and Learn, and that's more, I looked into it, it's more like kind of educational based,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's focused on, is it kind of focused on a curriculum, or is it just focused on like themes of certain concepts? Because I know you have one about families that I checked out, and I thought it was very sweet because it talked about Sahai and adoption, and you
Mm-hmm.
and your wife with the twins. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's so great that you're taking these concepts and you're breaking it down in an easy way for the young audience to digest it and to learn about stuff like that. So how did that come about?
Yeah, that was a distinct shift from the Wiggles. We wanted to create a big, massive, content for YouTube, which we've never really done before in this kind of size. And we aimed it particularly at the younger side of our audience. So Wiggles has always been kind of 0 to 5, but this one was really for the 0 to 3. The way we spoke to camera, as you said, the learning aspects of it, from the ABCs to counting and simple things like family and people that help us in our community, and just really things that children find everything interesting. But just the way we spoke to camera in this series, particularly, was really gentle, and that's throughout the whole series. So that's all coming up on YouTube every second week. A new one gets added, so there's just going to be a real flow on of that. We're doing a brand new TV series as well now, Ready Steady 7,
Oh
which
yes,
is
I was going to bring that up as well.
yeah. So that's probably shifting away from that really early learning to just a cracker of a series with so much fun, still very entertaining and engaging, and uh, lots for children to learn. But Wiggles has always kind of been learning through play and learning through song and learning through dance.
What I like about the Ready Steady Wiggle series is that it reminds me a lot of the Wiggles that I grew up with, like the original series.
Yes.
Because I was season that you can watch right now, which is season 6, and just like almost kind of like the slapsticky humor,
Mm,
and like there'll be like a different story, like you'll invent something and it will go wrong, and we'll have to figure out
mm,
until the next song like what will happen, and it's just like
yeah.
it's something that kids can watch and laugh at, but also the adults in the room can, it's a lot of nostalgia too, and it's just so
Yes.
fun. You can tell again, like you guys are just having so much fun with the plots and everything, and it's just great as a viewer to see that.
Yeah. I think our original Ready Steady series got so many of those comments from the grown-ups, just saying how much we've always tried to kind of keep that. So I think that's really important. I think
Yeah.
if Wiggles is co-viewing, which I think is lovely and quite different to a lot of other children's content out there. So I think if parents can sit down with their kids and enjoy watching it, then everyone gets a good time, and it yeah, it's really lovely. So yeah, we did try and kind of go back and watch a few of those original ones that you would have watched way back
Hmm.
in the day, where
Yes.
they're still so enjoyable to watch
Yes,
because you
I watched some of those last year before because I spoke to Murray
yeah
last year, and
yeah
and even with the new one too, like I will watch these episodes and I'll still crack up. Like they're
yeah I know
hilarious, even some of the newer ones. It's just, that like it's good, clean fun, but it is very hilarious. And when you could tell that
yeah.
like you guys are just not afraid to unleash your silly side, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Though you do have to be silly and you do have to let go of all ambitions. I mean, children teach you that so much. Having your own kids, they kind of want you to be silly the whole time. You can't have
Hmm.
bars up, or you just got to show your
Yeah.
true self, which is nice.
Yeah, I love that. And you guys have so many fun projects that have come out just this past year. And one of them that I do want to highlight is that you started a podcast with Simon called
Mm,
Wiggle Talk, and it's dedicated to parents of toddlers. But I've listened
mm,
to a lot of the episodes, and you have great guests. And I think, regardless, you give so many good tips, even just about like, dealing with how to. I was listening to one yesterday where they were talking about how to, when you ask a kid, how was your day? And when they come
mm,
home from school and they're like, "Oh no," I can't tell you how many times like little siblings how I've gone through that. And it's like,
mm.
eat a snack, then wait, and like things with like controlling emotions. You had a really great episode with Terry Irwin about grief. And I think those
Yes.
are just so much good like life lessons in general. How did you come about that podcast? And what was one of your biggest takeaways from doing that?
Yeah, well, it's been such a fun project to do. And selfishly, I think we kind of say how grateful Simon and I are for the project because we're learning so much as young parents. Simon's got a
Hmm.
3-year-old. I've got the twin girls who are 4 and
Hmm.
a 9-year-old. So I think we have got an unbelievable range of guests from Terrio, and as you said, we just interviewed the other day Dr. Shafali, who's Oprah's kind of go-to
Yes,
uh,
I.
parenting expert, which is so that
Mhm.
it's fascinating every time we talk, and I think that's coming across to the audiences. People love hearing from Simon and I just as dads. We've got Anthony
Mhm.
on there too, just speaking as a dad. We did an episode with Katerina the other day about her
Yes, I
twins
listened
and
to
her,
that.
her journey so far. So I think it yeah, parents have come up and really enjoyed saying, I just love hearing you guys as you are, and we don't kind of pretend to be anything. The first thing we said on one of the first episodes is how tricky parenting is,
Mhm.
which I think is just nice to hear. Everyone has trouble parenting and at some time, and if we can just provide, half an hour episode of just little bits of pieces from these incredible experts and a few funny moments in there too, it's been
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, even
It's a
even
really
the
lovely
Wiggles.
project.
Yes, even the Wiggles have questions about parenting. Toddlers are there's not a
They
textbook for
certainly
them.
do.
There's definitely not an answer for everything, so it is very cool to
Yeah,
hear that. So
yeah.
another project that has been around for a little bit, but I wanted to highlight is that you and Anthony actually started a folk band called the Unusual Commoners, and I know you do that as a side project. Tell us about your love for folk music, and will you be doing any of those shows while you're in America, or is that undetermined yet?
I'm sure we'll get requests too. It's a little we when 2016 I think we were busking in the UK. Just thought let's just before the show and after the shows, let's just go on the street and play some folk music. And that's
Hmm.
literally how it started. Um, we do quite a few gigs here in Australia for all different types of events, um, and the group's grown a lot. Um, but yes, I think we probably will do some shows. I think we're in America for like 5 or 6 weeks, so I'm sure we constantly get requests on social media to come and you know please do an unusual comedy show while you're here. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure we will. I can't tell you what city it'll be in, but I'm sure there will be a.
Hoping
It's
someone in
tricky with
Memphis sets
traveling
one up.
because we'll have to get to the next place. But if
Hmm.
there's a day off, I'm sure we'll do one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool. And you have a lot of other things that can appeal to not only your current audience of toddlers, but also grown-ups and kids that have grown up on the show, you did an EDM remix album called DJ Dorothy. There was the documentary that has come out last year, and you guys also have such a great social media presence on TikTok. That's how I kind of got back into the world of the Wiggles,
Mm.
because I kept seeing the videos on the For You page. How do you kind of bridge the gap of, okay, we want to cater to, of course, our target demographics, but we still want to do fun things like reunion shows and cater to the parents as well, make it kind of an all ages experience.
No, I think when we did a few shows here, the OGs got back together and did a few big kind of stadium shows for all the 20-year-old fans that watched the Wiggles growing up.
Mhm,
I think kind of through that you could see how much excitement there was and how much nostalgia there was, and that
mhm,
that age group of young adults came to the show and just totally relived their childhood. So I think the Wiggles are in a pretty special spot that they've got that much history behind them. And then
mhm.
DJ Dorothy kind of came out of that as well. There was a real what can't Dorothy do? Now she's DJing in nightclubs and everyone's dancing along and the Tree of Wisdom's there rocking out. And that was through John's brother as well, John Pierce's brother from Justice Crew.
Yes.
Lenny did a whole remix album. So that's absolutely taking off. That's been a really popular new element. Just to add to the increasing Wiggles.
You did a
Yeah.
cover of Elephant by Tame Impala. So that was another thing that went very viral. You won the Triple J 100, which is a big
Yeah.
countdown in Australia. I just think it's so fun that you're just being able to bring joy to all of these different age groups.
Yeah, on that elephant, that was probably kind of that was the start of, I think, where the older audiences from that watched the Wiggles originally came back and went, oh wow, the number one, the Wiggles are still going. Anthony, Jeff, and Murray were in that clip when we filmed that
Yes.
live at ABC Studios here in Sydney. So I think, and Tame Impala is such a good band, and just that it was kind of the perfect little moment in time that everyone went. We weren't obviously expecting to win. It was kind of ridiculous that we did, but not ridiculous, but it was such a surprise. We tried our best to do a really good cover of that song, and people loved it, and yeah, we won.
Yeah,
And we
it's
got to meet Kevin Parker too, which was just an absolute thrill. We got a photo on the wall of us on stage with singing Elephant with him right next to me. I'm like, this is crazy.
that must have been so surreal.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And then another thing I wanted to highlight, if we're comfortable, of course, is that one thing that I think is so special, and some of this was kind of showcased in the documentary, is the amazing hearts you guys have, and you guys have, also connected with a lot of kids and adults with special needs such as autism and Down syndrome and other things, and have really made them feel welcome. And I have high functioning autism myself, and the group has always been like a special interest of mine, and it's just really warmed my heart to see
Mm.
videos of those kids holding up the signs and you just taking your time with them. And how has that been, like, just meeting all of those fans and making sure that they feel happy? Do you have any special memories involving that?
Oh, so many memories. And that's something the Wiggles have always done from the very start. I mean, I think it says quite a lot about the show and the TV show, just in a way that children with additional needs across the world have connected with the show from
Hmm.
the get go. And I don't quite know what that is in it. If it's the way Wiggles have always spoken to camera and how gentle they are and the colors. We never we never edit fast. There's never really flashy fast edits. It's all just quite, the music's fun. We really do rock and roll sometimes, but I think it's always in a really kind of human, beautiful way. And I think that has just connected for forever. We have so many, particularly in America, but so many worldwide, children with autism and Down syndrome and additional needs that do come to the show, and they just love it. And we do lots of meet and greets. Every year at Christmas time at the hospital, we go on Christmas Day to see the children who aren't well enough to get out. And, that's the really not well children that are still in on Christmas Day, because they obviously try to send as many children home for the day as possible. So Wiggles have always done that too. That's just always been a part of Wiggles. I think being part of a Wiggle is being part of our broader community and helping families that are doing it a little bit tougher. So that's we really pride ourselves on that, and it's been a wonderful part of the journey. We have so much. We have so many stories of meet and greets that I could tell you, but it's just, from parents literally physically getting so upset when they just see their child come alive in those moments where they get to meet us. Like it really is a special part of the job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for them to make that connection too, like they're on,
Mm,
you're on the TV, but then like you're right in front of them. I'm sure that is just such
yeah.
a special too. And you make such a great point about the editing. It is very, I feel like children's content, especially now, it is so overstimulating. Everything is so fast. There's like hundreds of sound effects, and it's just like I can't imagine how much that is on a little brain. And that's what I really admire still about your new content. There's not a ton of cuts. There's a lot of like long times of just speaking to the camera and making that connection before just flashing animations or anything on the screen. I think that's very special, and I think a lot of other um, kids media should follow in that footsteps and kind of steer away
Yeah.
from just putting so much on.
Yeah, it's tricky because I don't think that doesn't necessarily go with the algorithm and what really works on YouTube and what gets masses of views. But I think that you just kind of have to stay in that lane. We won't ever do that. And if that, because we're so wanting the children and parents to enjoy the content and not get overstimulated by it and not be too much. So,
Yeah, that's really great. And so I want to wrap things up here. And one thing I always like to do on my show is I like to talk to my guests about some of the music that they really like. What have you been listening to lately? Is there any artists or songs that you like? Maybe I can put them on this broadcast and I can play them.
oh yeah, well at the moment, I mean, we're going through it's massive. I'm going through a massive country phase, but I've got it
Oh,
really
I'm a big
heavily
country.
into. Oh yeah, Lainey Wilson, Orville Peck. Um,
Yes.
but she's over there, sweetheart. Yeah, a lot of country. Like Antho's always played country, like Merle Haggard. That's how Bouncing Balls came about.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love it.
an old country western song, but um, yeah. So at the moment, I'm very much in that zone.
Wow, I
I love.
know it must be exciting for you to go to Tennessee now that you're on a country music kick.
I know, right? It's gonna be.
Yeah. It was so awesome talking to you, Lachy. And
You too,
just
Bella.
a reminder, everybody, they are going to on their American tour and starts in June. They will be in Memphis on June 15th. All the ticket information is on thewiggles.com and the Orpheum's website. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bella,
Yes,
and say hi to everyone in America for us. We can't wait to
oh,
get back.